All right, this week's Mental Model Monday is compounding. And we're going to talk about compounding in terms of just simple money, or you've probably heard of it before. We'll also talk about it as more of a mental model. It's more of a way of looking at the world and benefiting from understanding the world in this way. So first of all, let's just talk about money. Just the simple fact of compound interest. Let's say that you take $100 and you put it into some sort of account that collects 5% interest and it compounds once a year. That means that the principal, the $100, appreciates 5% interest at the end of 1 year. Okay, so you start off with 100. At the end of the year one, you'd have $5, 5%. Okay. Now, most of the time, accounts are not going to compound once per year. Most of the time, it'll be multiple times per year. So in this example, I have it compounding monthly, and you can see that you end up making $5.11 or 12 cents the first year. So you make a little more than $5, right? So year one, you make a little over $5, a little over 5% because you're compounding more than once a year. If you look at the difference between what you make in the first year, $5.12, to what you make in the ninth year, from year 9 to 10, you can look down there, you make over $8 in that next year. So you might think, well, $5 compared to $8, it's not that much, but it's over a 50% increase in the amount of money that you make year to year, okay? So even in the short term, you can see that even in the first 10 years, you can see there's a big difference between the first amount that you make in the first year compared to the 10th year. All right, but this gets even more exaggerated as you go further and further down the line, because as you're probably aware at this point, it's an exponential curve, right? Compound interest is an exponential. And the reason for that is that you make $5.11 in the last example, right? You make $5.11 in the first year. Now, the next year, you're going to make 5% on $105 as opposed to the 100. So you're making interest on that that increased amount. So when that happens for a long time, let's say 20, 30 years, you see that this is a little bit different situation. Let's say you start with $5 in this situation at 8% interest. Okay, so the first year you only make 41 cents, not a lot of money. The next year you make less than $1 still, but this keeps going on, and you can see that by year 10, you've more than doubled your money, right? You start off with $5. By year 10, you're up to $11. Okay, and by year 20, you have multiplied your money by almost 5 times, so you're up to almost $25. And by year 30, that $5 that you started off with, that seemingly like you could blow that at Starbucks today, right? But investing it and waiting 30 years in an account that makes 8% turns it into almost $55. So almost multiplies it by a factor of 11. And then also notice that the jump from 0 to 10 years is about double, but the jump from 20 or from 10 to 20 is even more than double. So I guess the jump from 5 to 11 is still more than double. But you can see in the graph here, come on, give me the graph. There we go. Okay, so this is with the principal of $100. Back to that example on 8% interest. But you can see that in the graph that you get this exponential effect. Okay, so the longer that money stays in there, the faster it grows. So it grows faster from year 29 to 30 than it does from year 9 to 10, and so on. Okay, so this is it for money. If you're taking my class, you're young, then think about this, that the earlier you get money saved up or invested or whatever, the earlier you start making interest, the more money you'll have if you just let that money grow. Okay. Now, this concept of compounding scales from money, where it's the most obvious and the most talked about, but it also scales to other areas of your life. So Darren Hardy wrote this book called The Compound Effect. It's a good book or whatever, but what I really like from it is the takeaway that compounding can apply to other parts of your life. Okay, so compounding is going to apply in any system that grows slow initially. Okay, so where you don't notice the payoff right away. This is why we often don't do these things. So when I talk about some examples in a second, you'll see why it's so hard to do it. Think about, I guess I didn't write this one down, but like think about just in terms of well, I guess weight loss is on there, but just in terms of health. So small changes that you make today, you probably won't see the benefits of them tomorrow. So for instance, if you decide to stop eating ice cream today, that probably won't impact your health very much tomorrow. But if you decide to stop eating ice cream, assuming you eat it quite frequently, or if you cut out sugar or something, something that you eat that isn't that good for you, especially over the long term, you're not going to notice it after 1 day or 2 days or 3 days, but you will notice it over a long period of time, right? So if you cut sugar and you check your health metrics, and again, assuming you eat a lot of sugar, and you check your health metrics today and you check them in a year, you'll see that probably, if you hold everything else constant, that your health has improved some. If you do that for 5 years or 10 years, you'll see that it's improved even more. There's a compounding effect, okay? And this can apply to lots of different things: writing, art, weight loss, weight maintenance, health, athletics, mathematics, learning a language, knowledge, etc. Anything that doing it builds. So take writing as an example, right? If you do a little bit of writing every day, every single day you're improving your writing ability. And then the more that you do that, the more skills you've built up that you can keep improving on. So a year's worth of writing now is what your base ability is going to be when you start year 2. Okay, so that's where you're going to jump from, and you'll obviously be able to improve a lot more from there. All of these things that are compounding is this idea that you're going to get huge rewards from small, smart changes. But in the moment, these steps, these things that you do don't feel that significant. But it's the buildup of them. It's doing these small habits to each day, and it's the compound effect. It's the idea that these small changes will build up eventually, and you'll have large payoffs, but on a longer time scale. Okay? So, how do you do this? Well, one thing that you want to do is you want to get off the treadmill of consuming information that expires quickly. Okay, you want information that has a long half-life. So you want information that's going to be meaningful. You want to take in information that's going to be meaningful. It's going to be useful to you for a long time, if at all possible. How do you know if information will expire soon? Well, if it's marketed to you, if there's very few details, if it's very simple, if it's easily digestible, if it's the what and not the why, it doesn't help you learn the first principles of the thing that you're reading. You want information that's going to be valuable, worthwhile, meaningful. Okay. Information that expires soon won't be relevant in a month or a year. Lots of news is this way, right? Information that helps you see and understand underlying systems, that's information that's going to give you the why, as opposed to just the what, which is what you want. You're probably going to have to read books. There's a lot of information in books, and it's long form. It gives you the why. Books have a bigger impact on your mind. They allow you to grapple with the ideas for a longer amount of time, and there's probably going to be a greater payoff if the books are fit this bill that it's providing you information that has a longer half-life. Okay, you always want to consider trying to make decisions that are going to pay off later after compounding, but that might seem insignificant now. So the fact that you cut out sugar, again, not going to help you that much today or tomorrow, but you're going to see that benefit over time. Saving a little bit of money each day now, you save $1 each day, let's say, or $5 a week. And right now, it doesn't seem like it's that big of a deal. But then over the course of a year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, you start to really see the payoff. So it's playing the long game. It's trying to avoid playing the short game.